NASA's plan for a nuclear reactor on the moon. Imagine a future where humanity's outposts on the moon are powered by clean, reliable nuclear energy, freeing us from the constraints of solar cycles. That's the bold vision of Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, who is set to fast-track NASA's plans for a nuclear reactor on the lunar surface. This is not just a step towards sustainable lunar bases. It's a move that could position the United States as a dominant force in what insiders call the second space race. But here's where it gets controversial. This ambitious plan comes at a time when NASA is bracing for significant budget cuts. Some insiders are calling these cuts rapid and wasteful, threatening to undermine the agency's mission and its workforce. Yet Duffy's directive to NASA is clear. Propose a 100-kilowatt lunar nuclear reactor, a substantial upgrade from previous 40-kilowatt efforts. He's also set a tight 60-day timeline for NASA to select project leadership and industry partners. Why does this matter? President Trump has made it clear that he wants America to lead in space exploration, establishing the Space Force as the first new branch of the armed services since 1947. A nuclear reactor on the moon would be a game-changer, providing the sustained power needed for human operations and research outposts, regardless of the moon's extreme environmental cycles. However, this plan isn't without its critics. The Voyager Declaration, signed by over 250 NASA employees and former officials, warns of the dangers of major programmatic shifts that are rapid and wasteful. They argue that such changes undermine NASA's mission and harm its workforce. NASA's press secretary, Bethany Stevens, has countered these claims, emphasizing that safety remains paramount and that any reductions will be carefully managed. As Duffy prepares to unveil his plans for the lunar nuclear reactor, the question remains, will this bold move propel humanity into a new era of space exploration? Or will it be derailed by budgetary concerns and internal dissent? The future of lunar exploration hangs in the balance, and the debate is just getting started. And this is the part most people miss. While the benefits of a nuclear reactor on the moon are clear, the risks and costs associated with such a project could be significant. What do you think? Is this the next giant leap for mankind, or a costly gamble that could backfire? Share your thoughts in the comments below. NASA's bold plan, building a nuclear reactor on the moon by 2030. Imagine a future where the moon isn't just a distant celestial body, but a bustling hub of human activity powered by advanced nuclear technology. This isn't science fiction. It's a real plan being pushed by the current administration. Transportation Secretary and acting NASA Administrator Sean Duffy, appointed by President Trump, has announced a bold initiative to accelerate the development of a nuclear reactor on the moon. In an internal memo distributed on Monday, Duffy laid out his vision for a powerful lunar reactor that could revolutionize space exploration and secure America's leadership in the new space race. NASA has long considered the feasibility of establishing a nuclear reactor on the moon to provide a stable power source for sustained human presence. However, Duffy's plan takes this idea to the next level by aiming to not only expedite the project, but also to significantly boost the reactor's power output. According to documents obtained by the Post, the goal is to develop a 100-kilowatt nuclear reactor, more than doubling the 40-kilowatt capacity previously envisioned by NASA's Fission Surface Power Project. Why is this so important? Duffy emphasized in his memo that this technology is crucial for supporting a future lunar economy, enabling high-power energy generation on Mars, and enhancing national security in space. It is imperative the agency move quickly, he wrote, underscoring the urgency of the project. A senior NASA official told Politico, "It is about winning the second space race." The directive requires NASA to solicit proposals for the 100-kilowatt reactor with the aim of launching it by 2030. In 2022, NASA had already awarded design contracts for a 40-kilowatt reactor, which was expected to power 33 households. However, Duffy's plan aims to leapfrog this initial effort and achieve a much more ambitious goal. One of the key concerns driving this initiative is the potential for other nations, particularly China and Russia, to beat the U.S. to the punch. If another country were to establish a nuclear reactor on the moon first, they could declare a keep-out zone, significantly limiting American access and influence. To prevent this, Duffy's order calls for NASA to appoint a project leader and engage with private industry within 60 days to ensure the reactor is ready for deployment by 2030. President Trump appointed Duffy, 53, as the acting head of NASA last month, following the withdrawal of billionaire Jared Isaacman's nomination. Isaacman, an ally of Elon Musk, was reportedly dropped due to a review of his political contributions, including significant donations to Democratic causes. In contrast, Duffy's appointment signals a shift towards a more politically aligned leadership at NASA. During a recent interview with Fox News host Sean Hannity, Duffy outlined NASA's ambitious goals, including returning to the moon, landing on its surface, and eventually setting up a permanent base. "We're going to go back to the moon during Donald Trump's presidency," he declared. "Next year, at the start of the year, we are going to go back to the moon. We're not going to land. We're going to orbit the moon. And then about a year later, we're going to land back on the moon. And then after that, we're going to set up a base camp. We're going to stay on the moon. And what we learn on the moon is what's going to take us to Mars." But here's where it gets controversial. Some critics argue that the rapid push for a lunar nuclear reactor could raise safety concerns and geopolitical tensions. What do you think? Should the U.S. prioritize this project, or should we focus on other aspects of space exploration? Share your thoughts in the comments below.